Hi everybody, this is Dr. Nona Sabeh. I am here at Indoor AgCon, the 11th annual Indoor AgCon, it's 2024. And I'm here with Karen Varga and Lauren Lewis from Meister Media. They have started a new digital media endeavor called CEAg World. But Karen and I go back a long time. We first met, I think, in Panama in 2015 at the ICCEA. Welcome back to the industry.
Thank you.
It's so good to see you.
Yeah, I had a little, 5-year break or so.
Yeah, well, we're glad to have you back. You've been to Indoor AgCon before, right?
I have. I think the last time was maybe 2016, give or take a year or two.
Okay, so how has this event changed in 8 years?
I mean, it's been pretty different so far. This experience, I would say it's a lot less focused on cannabis and a lot more focused on produce, especially leafy greens. We've been seeing lettuces everywhere, both on the show floor and the keynote speaker from Little Leaf Farms. Paul was, he's a leafy green. What is he? The biggest in the U.S. I think at this point.
Amazing.
And so I feel like I'm seeing that's where they're seeing the growth in the industry right now, which is really cool. Nothing against cannabis. It's really cool to see the focus on food, because after all, with CEAg World, we are focused completely on food and the advancing food undercover. So that's kind of aligns with our mission.
Yeah, I agree. It's nice to see how vegetable crops are gaining the momentum that it deserves again.
Well, and we've even been hearing asparagus, bananas, that was one, coffee, chocolate. Like, we're just hearing about all these different crops that have potential to commercially be grown indoors now that really weren't maybe an option or weren't seen as an option before. So it was just really cool. It's just really cool to see what people are doing that's new, but not so pie in the sky that it couldn't be done. Like, it could actually be solving problems that we're seeing with the food chain.
Yeah, I agree. So what has been one of your biggest takeaways from the event this year?
One of the things that we were really excited about is just the focus on greenhouses. We see potential for vertical farms. We see potential for all different types of structures. But the fact that we're seeing more inclusivity for anywhere from like hoop house, high tunnels, up to high-tech greenhouses, and just greenhouses have seemed to be the area that's been most proven over the years. I mean, we've had greenhouses for however many years, and people are still growing in greenhouses. And that's, as Dr. Greenhouse, it's got to be exciting.
I know,
for you
finally my name is coming to fruition.
Even though we know that you do it all.
Right. And all the crops. And I'm really excited, too, about the diversity of crops that people are talking about growing undercover and being protected. So tell me about CEAg World. What is your guys' mission? How are you different from all the other media outlets?
So CEAg World is really, we're all about advancing food undercover. So our aim is to reach the entire market, everywhere from marketing people to growers to produce retailers and everything in between, to connect that industry through different partnerships, academia especially, and just get the information out there that people need to know, whether it's for, we're looking at the people that are growing from lower tech all the way to higher tech, everything in between. Like I said, we want to make sure we're an inclusive environment, and our whole goal is to focus on the folks that are producing food, like food crops to finish. So we have other brands that are covering the transplants, but we're looking at food. And we really hope to be that connecting point for the industry to come together and to see, what's academia doing, but more importantly, how does it apply to my operation? How can I use this consumer trend information to improve my marketing? How can I, sometimes it's just not tangible. When you see reports coming out, you need somebody to be there to interpret those and to help you understand what is it exactly that this is going to mean for my business. It's funny, I was talking to someone yesterday who said, oh, well, you probably want to talk to my husband because he's the head grower and, in charge of production. And I said, well, wait a second. You're the one that's running the online store. You're the one that's connecting with the restaurant owners. You're the one that's seeking those market opportunities. Because if you don't have a market, you're not going to have anyone to sell your produce to.
How do we create demand, right?
Well, and how do we also elevate these folks that think, well, the grower is the only one that we should be speaking to? Yes, the grower is absolutely crucial, critical, important to the business, but we also have all these other people that need support and need to be understanding the latest and the greatest to really boost that business up. So that's what our goal is.
Awesome. Well, and thank you for highlighting our VPD app on the website. I appreciate that. We love providing that as a tool to growers of all crops. So, Lauren, was this your first indoor AgCon?
This has been my first indoor AgCon. Yes, I've been meaning to come for a couple of years.
And what do you think?
I think it's wonderful. I have heard that it's been more of a show for the indoor vertical environment, but I've, as Karen was saying, I've been really excited to see all the greenhouse elements here, see more of the food production. It's been wonderful.
Awesome. So you guys are putting on an event in August, right?
We are, yes.
Tell me about
part of the CEAg World Business Venture Launch, we want to have an annual event where the whole CEAg World community comes together. So the first event will be in August in Raleigh. It'll be a conference expo, so lots of great education. Also an expo, bringing some of the best suppliers and industry partners to showcase how they can help advance the industry. And we want everyone under the CEAg World umbrella to be there, whether you're, more of a traditional outdoor grower looking to expand to some form of greenhouse or maybe even container. Maybe you're CEA curious, looking to find ways to extend your season, or you're, a fully greenhouse dedicated, produce producer, or indoor vertical farming. We want everyone to come together, and we'll have something for everyone there.
Awesome. How can people learn more about it?
Go to the website ceagworld.com. We've got the event listed there on the main hub website, and we'll be pushing out some more information soon on how you can register.
Awesome. Well, welcome to Indoor AgCon. I hope it was a great event. And Karen, it was so awesome to see you.
Yeah, it was wonderful to reconnect, and I'm so excited to be back in the produce industry. It's always been my favorite.
Yay. All right. Well, have a great rest of the show, you guys.
Thank you, Dr. Greenhouse.
Hi, everybody. I'm back. This is Nadia at Indoor AgCon 2024, and I'm here with Felix Chassouant from Harnois Greenhouses, a Canadian Quebec greenhouse company, right?
Yep.
So what do you do, Felix?
So great to see you, Nadia. So I am an agronomist, and I'm working with Harnois for 4 years now, and I am taking care of the sales. So I am responsible of the sales development, all, like the key account in Canada, the States, a bit like in Guatemala, Caribbean, but mostly Canada and the States for Harnois, supporting our customers.
Awesome. So this is your first Indoor AgCon, is that right?
Yeah, the first one, because I am working with Harnois for 4 years. The two first years, it was like the pandemic, and last year I was not available. However, we are seeing and following the direction of CEA, and the greenhouse industry is evolving very fast, technology, and we have decided to be here this year to just meet the people, the growers, and to just listen to the needs.
And so what has been one of your biggest takeaways? What type of people are you talking to? What kind of interest are you seeing in your greenhouses?
We see more and more, people, they start indoor, doing vertical cultivation, using rack, using technologies, LED. There are some of them are facing very big challenges, energy prices. Then the technology, you need to find very qualified people to run the facilities.
Yeah.
And we were talking about the spectrum, the lights, the price of conveyors, the automation. So they were coming here more to learn from the greenhouse companies, the experience, because in the greenhouse company Harnois is in the business for 60 years, and we learned from all this time how to manufacture greenhouses in Quebec with more than 6-7 feet of snow during the winter. It's very cold, so we learned how to use the greenhouse itself, to use the lights, the free lights from the sun, the passive ventilation, and how to use the greenhouse structures, the volume, Also, like to control the climate, like as a buffer effect, how we use the greenhouse to isolate the crops from the very high humidity, the high temperature, to decrease like the risk of fungus contamination, bacteria. And they were just curious to meet us and how we can also combine, like indoor CEA with greenhouse, because we are doing project in Quebec like winter farm. Okay. So it's vertical facilities inside greenhouses. And it's a combination. So they have like prefabricated, like building inside our greenhouses, like 22 feet under gutters, very big. And they use the heat from the light to like for like other greenhouses nearby, but like conventional greenhouse for NFT system, for example.
Yeah.
So it's a perfect example of combination between indoor and greenhouse.
Interesting. So what are you excited about the future of CEA?
But like I see like very like the new generation. So we met a few babies today.
Yeah.
But the new generation coming and how the technology, like can support the growers and support also them like to be much more efficient regarding the profitability and to be less dependent of the energy. And we talk about like our new greenhouse, the Vermax. It's a glass house. And one of the innovation was how to use, for example, thermopump, geothermal technologies, and like new innovation to reduce as much as possible the carbon footprint to be like carbon neutral.
Nice.
So it's part of innovation. We are doing like 4 hectares project right now in Quebec for leafy greens using this technology. But this is what is very exciting. We learn every day. It's moving. Here at Indoor Con, what I like, it's the conference. The people, everyone is passionate about like the industry, and we learn a lot. So it's try to be like very open-minded, take the technologies everywhere, and then use it to improve what we do at Harnois.
Awesome. Well, Felix, it was so nice to meet you and to have you here at Indoor AgCon. I hope you have a great rest of the show.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Nadia. Merci beaucoup, and see you next time.
Hey everyone, this is Nadia at Indoor AgCon, and I am here with Gretchen Schimelpfenig and Stacia Lewis. So you guys, is this your first Indoor AgCon?
Yes, it is my first, yes.
It's also my first.
Okay, so what has been your first impression of Indoor AgCon?
I didn't know what to expect because there's so many CEA shows now, and I was trying to make sure, is the content worth it? Are the relationships I'm building here worth it? And I think that I would say that my first impression is that, yeah, it was good to see so many friends and colleagues and meet some new people, be able to connect some of my friends with people that they haven't met yet. And I would say that some of the topics that have been covered, I've heard before, and I want to hear people talk more about energy in a real honest way. But I do think that it is a worthwhile event, and I'm glad I came.
Awesome. What about you, Stacia?
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I definitely met a lot of people in the past couple of days that I've been meaning to meet but haven't really got the chance to yet, and had some really good conversations with them. As far as the content goes, I was really excited to hear Aaron's talking about collaboration in the industry, because I think that's something that we're really headed toward, and I'm excited about it.
Awesome. Now, Stacia, you are a grower at Eating Green Technology. So as a grower, what has been one of your biggest takeaways from this?
I would say, that's a good question.
I'm good at those.
You are very good at those. I would definitely say kind of what I just touched on. We need to be talking more. I don't know personally a lot of growers, and so being able to meet growers and kind of talk about their day-to-day and what they're doing really helps give different perspectives of the things we're doing the same, the things we're doing different, maybe things we could do better. So yeah, just the connections with people who do the same thing that I do has been really, really good for me.
Awesome. And Gretchen, a lot of people know that you have a big focus on energy. You work for GLASE, Energy Resource Integration, ERI. For you, I know you touched on it too, not a lot of talk about energy, right?
Except for my panel.
Right. But what has been one of your biggest takeaways, when you have that hat on?
I think that the conversation of profitability is ignoring or maybe even avoiding the topic of energy. They would in many cases rather talk about labor or ways that, technology is going to solve everything. But I am encouraged to see that more folks are saying that energy is going to be a differentiating factor. So the keynote this morning said energy is going to be a new way for CEA growers to differentiate themselves. And I grilled him, I said, elaborate on that. What do you mean? Are you talking just put some solar on it? Or are we talking about real energy efficiency? Yeah. And he said that, energy efficiency doesn't really move the needle, but I like to disagree with him. So I'm hoping hoping that is a trend that we see continue, especially if profitability is the goal, staying alive, keeping these businesses afloat, continuing to expand. You're not going to really be able to do it without that second or third contributing factor to your operating expense.
100% agree. So you guys put on a brand new event this year, Vivid Canopy. Tell us about that. What were the goals? What was the turnout? Tell us all about it.
Yeah, I'd say the main focus of our panel was the labor issue that we're having in CEA right now and how we can use diversity and hiring people from different backgrounds to not only solve the labor issue that we're having, but also increase collaboration and also
alternate perspectives that provide better solutions. I think that one of the panelists yesterday said that when you have diversity of thought, you have a new way to solve these problems. And when you have only one homogenous way of solving food insecurity, you're going to potentially miss entire communities. You're not actually going to solve their problems because you're only listening to one voice. And so that was something that we wanted to do with this event. We had a panel, and we also had a roundtable discussion. And so Nadia was one of our awesome panelists, alongside other really diverse, excellent leaders in the industry. And we had a really, truly, walls down conversation that turned into something truly, joyous at times, as well as, frank and seeing the problems that we can all help solve. So the reason why we did this was we were hanging out at Cultivate. We had just met. Nadia had actually just introduced us. And Stacia mentioned that they hadn't really met anyone growing in their industry that had similar lived experiences. And then we talked to our colleague Cam, who had never met another Black grower. And so these were problems that I felt like GLASE had an opportunity to help solve as a membership-based organization already doing things like networking events, education, and workforce development. I'm like, you can put the energy efficiency stuff aside for a second and focus on the people and focus on how can we transform this workforce so that it can be truly sustainable, resilient, and efficient. So I guess the last thing I'll say is that Vivid Canopy is intended to be an initiative that happens live in person at industry events, but also has an online community, a LinkedIn group, and there'll be more to come. Mentorship programs potentially. Anything else you wanted to add, Stacia?
Yeah, this is just the beginning. I think we're all very pleased with how things went.
Oh yeah, 50-something people came.
It was great. The belly laughs were so validating for us, I think. It seemed, Nadia could agree or disagree, but it seems like everybody vibed pretty well and the conversation was enthralling. I didn't take my eyes away a single time. So yeah, this is just the beginning, but we have a lot more coming up, and we're very excited.
Yeah, catch us at Cultivate likely. We'll probably be doing something at the CEAg World event in Raleigh, North Carolina in August, and also definitely at the GLASE Summit, which is likely to be in early November in Montreal and Quebec this year. So Vivid Canopy is an initiative that's not owned by one particular company either, so I just wanted to share. It's an initiative that was brought together by Eden Green Technology, as well as ERI and GLASE, and now with our founding organizations like Dr. Greenhouse, Vertical Harvest, Scout Strategy. Ultimately, it's going to be something that's owned by a lot of people. So hope you're interested in joining.
For the community, by the community, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Well, thank you for inviting me to be one of your inaugural panelists. I think my wife laughed the hardest at one of my comments. Nona can be a hard act to follow. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, we did have a powerhouse
You
panel.
really did. It was great. Welcome to Indoor AgCon. I'm so glad you guys were here. Thank you for putting on that event. I think it was really meaningful to a lot of people. And
we'll be back again here next year as well. And Suzanne's already interested in next year's Vivid Indoor AgCon. So
that's awesome. All right. Well, enjoy the rest of the show, you guys.
Thanks for the interview. Have a good one.
Fantastic.
My lip fell and I blacked out.
Hey everybody, I am on the expo floor of Indoor AgCon. We're wrapping up the event and I'm here with some guys from Trane. I'm going to let them introduce themselves.
My name is Erik Reidel. I'm actually work with KCC and we partnered with Trane for the event. It was our first time at Indoor AgCon. 100% recommend it. I think it was much more than we thought it would be. Great foot traffic the first day. Second day was a little bit quieter with foot traffic, but really good, deep conversations, and something that we'll definitely be back for.
Awesome.
I'm Gerardo Ceballos from KCC Application Engineer for the CEA specific equipment. And just like Erik was saying, it was a great first experience here at Indoor AgCon. Interesting to see all the different layers of disciplines that go into this industry, and just learning and meeting some great people.
Khalil Badran with Trane Los Angeles. Happy to be here with KCC, partners of ours for indoor agriculture equipment. We're happy to be at Indoor AgCon, first time hosting a booth here. A lot of great conversations, a lot of great leads, lots of consultants that we've met with that have just been doing great work, and we're really just dipping our toes into this vertical farming industry, and we're looking to grow with everybody here, so happy to be here.
Awesome. So what has been one of your biggest takeaways or nuggets from the event and from the people that you guys have been talking to? Any interesting questions people have asked or insights?
Start with Gerardo there.
Fine. Yeah. Honestly, we've kind of realized that vertical farming is the way of the future, and Trane historically, as well as some other HVAC companies, haven't quite focused on vertical farming specifically. So it's given us a lot of information about how we need to present our offerings with this industry, because it's not always people that are familiar with HVAC. So we need to reframe how we present our systems and open up, more than just climate control, maybe start talking about thermal storage, tax incentives, stuff like that to really relate to the industry. So that's really it. And biggest thing is there's a lot of great vendors and competitors that we're finding synergistic ways, I guess, to work together and partner and help lift everybody in the industry. So
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Anyone want to say anything else? No? All right. So what are you guys excited about with this industry? What are you excited about the future of this industry?
I'm excited. I think, as Khalil was saying, that we've had such a focus on cannabis between KCC and Trane, and this was, we know that the leafy green market and produce market's out there, but for me it was a big learning opportunity to ask the certain questions of types of crops and what you're doing, and just know that there's another market out there that we can go and attack. So, yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks, guys. It was so great to see you all here. It's about time. And we'll look forward to seeing you next year. So safe travels home. Hey everybody, this is Nadia. I am in the hallways of Indoor AgCon. We're wrapping up here. And I am here with Amberley Dorrell, who's a teacher here in Las Vegas. And she was telling me this is your first time at Indoor AgCon?
Absolutely, yes.
And what did you think?
The first few hours were quite overwhelming. Definitely higher in the scope of ag than I had anticipated, or even where I'm at.
Okay.
But I did learn a lot of knowledge and context and scopes of things that can help support my classroom. And,
So why were you here?
Well, because through Green Our Planet and the University of Nevada, Reno, and Texas A&M, I'm working with them through junior master garden program, and just learning teaching hydroponics in a culturally responsive way to get kids in the garden and get kids to think healthier foods. This is my first year doing it, and I'm the army of one right now, but next year I should have an entire school behind me. Not that they're not behind me now, but a bigger group of people to one dream type of thing. And so I was brought here by my principal to see and get whatever and knowledge and information to make our program bigger and better.
That's so awesome. So, what is, as a first timer, as an educator, What is like one of your biggest takeaways or nuggets from this event?
That for my kids in particular, there's more out there than, say, the marijuana field.
Interesting.
Companies that yes, they want to grow and they've getting their hands dirty, so to speak, with planting and growing, but that there's more avenues out there than they think here in Las Vegas.
Why are you interested in food education?
You know, I did not start this as an interest in food education. I was given a hydroponic system last year and said, and kind of have at it. And I started planting and saw the love that the kids had to see things grow. And it just kind of fueled my want to see them be excited in school. And my kids love coming to my room. They see I have an entire tower garden full of strawberries, and they're always asking, any more strawberries, Miss Dorrell? What are we growing today? So
that's so amazing. So what do you see as the future of this industry, or the future of this industry as it relates to, you know, K through 12? You teach K through 5, right? Like,
yes.
What do we need for this industry for educating students and bringing them into, I don't know, the future of food production?
I feel that the big companies, like we've seen this weekend, need to come into the communities and come into the schools and talk to the kids about what avenues and opportunities they have when it comes to a career and a job, and what the future of our community looks like. And I know I push really hard our carbon footprint, and how by creating these indoor gardens that we are able to give our environment back to where it needs to be to have a healthier, better future. I push recycle. I tell them, you know, how I recycle, and I try and show them ways of making new things, old things new again in the classroom. And I feel that is the biggest part of it, is to give that knowledge of our environment and how this world can support that.
That's awesome. Well, welcome to Indoor AgCon. I'm so glad you were here. I'm so glad that you pushed everybody, at least during our panel, on the education piece. It's so important. They are the future stakeholders of our world.
Right.
And you know, we need more STEM, right? More young people getting into not just the technology, but into farming and agriculture and science and engineering to really support, right, our future. So thank you for being here.
Well, thank you for giving me this opportunity. I really appreciate it.
Awesome. Well, safe travels.
Up the street.
Yep. Hey everybody, this is Nadia. I'm at Indoor AgCon, and I'm here with Aaron Fields, who's the VP of Agriculture for Eden Green Technology. Aaron, it's so great to see you.
Awesome. Good to see you too, Nadia. Thank you.
So this is what, your 4th Indoor AgCon?
That's right, 4th one.
And how does this one compare to the ones you've been to in the past?
This is my favorite one so far. No questions asked. It has been higher quality discussions, conversations, and a better vendor representation than any other one I've been to here.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What has been one of your biggest takeaways from this year?
I think my biggest takeaway is the energy here is really good. I don't have a lot of, everyone's excited and everyone seems to be working together a little bit more right now. And there's not like a rumor mill flying around like every other year of what's happening. And everyone's just here doing their job, which is awesome. And that, it just kind of resonates. It's a little more peaceful. It's not very hectic or toxic in some ways, I think you always had this chance of the previous years to come out of a session and go, oh my God, you hear what that guy said? We all kind of get it now, and we're all kind of helping out. So I think that's my takeaway.
I love that, because 2023 was obviously not the best year for our industry, but everyone is like coming out punching, right? Like everyone is like just really optimistic and just high energy, and just seems to be really excited about the future.
Yep. I agree with that wholeheartedly. I think that's been a very good theme this year.
absolutely. So you gave a talk yesterday about collaboration and the need for more of it in our industry. Can you just touch on like the high level points that you talked about?
Yeah, I focused on some of what I would call the pillars or the table legs that would hold up our industry. And the big things are energy and labor and food safety. You can throw in a couple smaller things. IPM was something I didn't talk about much yesterday, but that's something we can all get along and talk about. There's some standard and metric conversations, but I don't think we're quite there yet, nor do we have to be.
Yeah.
But I do think we need to get together so we can start doing a better job as an industry.
And these are big themes that we can all work together on, right? I think I think for me that was one of my biggest takeaways from your talk yesterday is that, you know, there is competition and there's secret sauce and IP, et cetera, but there's these bigger themes that are going to help the whole industry.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep. We're just a little piece right now. We still are just a little piece. And if we want to grow, I think the industry needs to decide what their success looks like. If we know that we don't want to displace field-grown agriculture entirely, how much do you want right now? What does it look like to you? What's realistic for a greenhouse company? And what's it going to take as an industry to do that? Right? Is it 1,000 greenhouses? Is it one company of greenhouses? I don't know what that is, but like you're 3% right now. So what works for us and what are we going to do to do this right?
That's a really, really good point. Like, what does success look like in this industry?
For the industry. Yeah. We are all good at being successful. You know, one of the reasons we can come to Vegas and all hang out, right? But to be successful as an industry is a very different notion.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, Aaron, thank you so much. It was so great to have your energy here and to have your words and just speak truth to what we're all dealing with. So have a great rest of your show.
Thanks so much. It's always good to have people like you here to inspire and support. So it's great seeing you again and glad to be here.
Thanks Aaron. Awesome. All right, so we have just wrapped up Indoor AgCon 2024, and I am here with my business manager, Shanda Perman. This was your first time at Indoor AgCon, right?
This was my first time.
And what did you think?
I had the best time. This is not just my first time at Indoor AgCon, but really my first conference convention in the CEA space. And I am so grateful I had the experience and have come away from this with so much information, so much encouragement, so many new connections, having a chance to meet the people behind the names and the emails and the contracts and the projects that I've been working with these last 7 years. It was really fun. I have some stats to share with you, just some personal stats. Okay. I walked in 2 days, circling the conference room floor, 13 and a half miles. That's 32,839 steps.
You got all your steps in.
I got all my steps in. And not one person that I wanted to meet or connect with turned me away. I was able to have conversations with everybody that I sought out. I had so many of my old friends and new friends welcome me to the space, eager to share their information. It wasn't just a celebration of the success of CEA. It was also discussions of failures and where we can go next. But it was a joyful space to be these 2 days, having the discussions with people that are new to the industry and wanting to break in and curious about it, having the in-depth conversation with people that are doing research and lab work, meeting students, meeting young female engineering students and grad students that are there to discover opportunities for themselves in this space. It was incredible. It was absolutely incredible.
Yeah, I think one of my big takeaways was just how much optimism there was. You know, I mean, 2023 was not an easy year for the industry. But there is still just so much energy. Almost every speaker, made some comment about how they were optimistic about the future of this industry, and that's one of the reasons why I keep coming back to this conference, because it's all about what the future can be, and not worrying so much about our mistakes or failures that we can leave behind. So I'm glad you had a similar impression and got energized, in that way as
But
well.
that optimism felt also like a realistic expectation of what was coming next. Sort of feeling the discussions and feeling like the industry had had a reset that it needed. And now the discussions are there, there's some heavy reflection on what has happened in the industry the past few years, but the optimism and having the exchange of stories that were so similar to our own as a firm, expanding and contracting and where we are now, it was so helpful. And I am so excited about this space that we are in, that this industry is in, and I'm exhausted. I barely have a voice, but
Good,
I'm
then you
so
did your job.
and I'm grinning from ear to ear because I enjoyed it so much. I didn't have one bad conversation. It was just fun. And I did sort of feel like I was circling the expo floor like a shark so that I could get into the people that I wanted to connect with. But it was a welcoming space to be in. And I even logged how many hugs I received from my new connections and new friends. And I think
That's
that's kind
awesome.
of unusual at
Yeah.
a conference like this.
Right, right. So, Shanda, what was like one of your nuggets, like something that you learned that was unexpected, or that you really enjoyed learning?
You and I haven't had a chance to discuss this yet, but one of the panels that I attended was the discussion around the USDA and the work that they are doing in this space, and the process of finding grants and projects to work on, and that the best introduction to that process is to become a reviewer yourself. So we have two highly qualified individuals in our organization that could do really well with that process, that would help us to understand what a good grant looks like, what kinds of opportunities there are, and expanding our exposure to some of these projects and opportunities beyond what we're working in now by being involved in that process. And the encouragement that was coming from the trustees of those projects and funds, and how eager they are to expand the money that's being invested into this space.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, USDA did create grant opportunities for urban agriculture and education, and it's hard to get sort of plugged in to what those opportunities are.
Right. And part of this discussion was what that path looks like and how you can familiarize yourself with the process and personal experience of others that have done the same thing.
Yeah.
So that was something that it wasn't even on my radar. I hadn't even taken the time or had the opportunity to think about that. It was also helpful to understand how many organizations there are that are on the nonprofit side, that are wanting to bring the message and the hands-on experience of CEA into classrooms, and to have those people also connected with USDA funds that are available for K through 12, and understand that there is some really exciting and interesting involvement of young people in this industry, that is something that we will want to support, and to watch the kind of reception and applause that those people that are working probably really hard and not for a lot of profit, that not for income, not for profit, to encourage the next generation of farmers to explore this space.
Yeah, we met and talked to a lot of people who are in K through 12, college students, and even for-profit companies that are really trying to be integrated within the community and really work with communities that need better access to food and careers and
Right,
jobs and creating a greater connection with our food system and with
right.
plants. So Shanda, I mean, your crystal ball, at least out of coming out of this event, like what do you see as the future for CEA, at least over the next year until the next event, or
That's a
the next 3 to 5 years?
that's a great question. I think that I came away from this conference understanding that this industry is still in that period of recovery from all that has happened with some of the larger venture capitalist funded projects and what that has done to the industry, and how there's going to be now this retraction and regrouping and refocusing of what this industry is working towards. It feels like there is a lot of research and um, exploration and science and collaboration that is going to happen in the remainder of this year to make room for the new projects to come into the space in 2025. So it feels like there's going to be a lot of optimization and rescaling, maybe scaling down, focusing on the distribution of the products and finding the market, and maybe even changing the thinking away from this industry being tech driven back to being a space for farmers and the agriculture side. And that was really important, I think, for me to hear, because it's been a discouraging side of this industry. And so to hear from the people that have been in this so much longer than I have, that's where we're headed, makes me feel really optimistic, as you already said, about what this year is taking us towards for the next 2 or 3 years before we can really dive into the meaty design projects.
Yeah, I heard a lot less. We're in competition and trying to beat out our competitors and beat out the other innovators, or
Right.
or the field producers. There's a lot more talk about collaboration. I'm grateful to Aaron Fields and his 30-minute talk about collaboration and the need for more of that in the industry, but also um, you just think about like the influx of lettuce growers in Texas. Texas is a big state, and they have all found a niche, right? And I think, to me, that is going to be one of the saving graces of this industry, is that we all realize that we have something to give that's unique within the industry, and to our communities, that we're not necessarily competing for the same market, competing for the same attention, that we can all live within this space, within this ecosystem together.
Right.
And once we come to that realization, then we will be able to create standards. We will be able to create metrics. We will be able to, just to grow as an industry with one voice and with one mission, right? With a singular purpose. And so, yeah, that to me was one of my favorite takeaways, especially from years past, where it was, we're going to be first to market and we have the best, the
And the
best
biggest,
new racking automation, blah, blah, blah system.
right?
No, we're not in competition with each other. We're in competition with the field producers no, like the field producers want to get into this too. Like, how can we help them? How can we work together um, to achieve the success overall of this industry? So yeah, I think that was an important sort of switching of the gears for
I
us.
had several conversations in a variety of places within the industry about fourth and fifth generation field farmers exploring CEA as an alternative to fight some of the environmental conditions that are making field farming increasingly difficult. And I mean, boy, that was really something that I hadn't expected to hear, or because I'm from farming country, right? I know what it means to be a fourth or fifth generation farmer. You do it because it's what your dad did, and your granddad did, and your great granddad, and your uncles did. So it was really exciting to hear that is changing a little bit, and that the traditional field farmers are starting to explore and embrace this industry. That was unexpected. I was not thinking that I was going to have those discussions.
Well, Shanda, do you want to go back next year?
I do. Yeah, I'm ready to book my tickets now. Yeah, I really, it's so interesting. I don't think that I've been this tired since maybe, our own workshops. And I flew into my one plane, one gate airport today, just dragging. But I'm also energized and so excited to process and digest all of the information that I came home with. I can't wait for the next one. I just can't wait.
Awesome. Well, Shanda, thank you for coming. Welcome to Indoor AgCon and the greater community, I guess, beyond what you already knew. And thanks for your insights.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey, everyone. So we just wrapped up the 11th annual Indoor AgCon in Las Vegas. One of my biggest impressions, I've been coming since 2015 to Indoor AgCon. I think the only year I missed was our pandemic year. And, the event has really evolved over the years from what I would consider, a big focus on urban agriculture, and then turning over to vertical farming. And what impressed me about this year is how so many people are talking about greenhouses now and realizing the value and potential of producing crops with a technology, quite frankly, that's been around for decades, right? That has proven itself out with, lots of various crops all over the world. And, for me, as the president of Dr. Greenhouse, founder of Dr. Greenhouse, I feel like the name of my company has finally come to fruition here. But it was really exciting. Met a lot of new people, reconnected with a lot of friends and colleagues and clients in the industry. And I think one of the big themes that I heard was how excited people were to be part of an industry that is new, that has potential, that's growing, and to be part of creating this new sector in agriculture. I was part of a panel where we talked about not just the importance, but the value that diversity and inclusion and equity bring to a business's strategic plan, and not just a business, but this new industry. And by including a lot of voices and a lot of perspectives in CEA in our industry, we only increase the value of the products and the services and the mission that we're creating within controlled environment agriculture. It was a really exciting panel with the Vivid Canopy and their first event, and for an hour after our panel, we broke out into sessions, into little breakout groups, and talked about our personal experiences, and was an opportunity to share our past, our experiences, both good and bad, and how we've brought that to the table, and are leading the charge forward. So a shout out to Gretchen and Stacia for putting that together. The other thing for me is that I'm really excited for the future of this industry, the future of greenhouses, and how much talk there was about the use of greenhouse as a tool, and not just as a technology, not just as a means to an end. And I met a lot of people who are field growers and who are interested in greenhouses and CEA, and how they can just have one more tool in their toolkit to produce food and produce the crops that they may already grow, or to even diversify. I think one of the things that I'm looking for in the future is to see more diversity of crops. I was happy to see that there was a mushroom session this year. There are a few cannabis sessions, but a lot of the focus was still on lettuce. Lettuce. Nothing against lettuce, but we have the opportunity to grow anything we want under cover and protected agriculture. And it kind of surprises me that we don't see a greater diversity of crops. And I think that just kind of brings back full circle this idea of, having more diverse voices and perspectives in the industry, because there are a lot of different plants, a lot of different food crops that, depending on your ethnicity, depending on your culture, depending on your region and location and what you're used to eating and want to eat, the sky's limit, literally, in terms of what we could be growing using controlled environment agriculture. So I'm really encouraged by the young people who are still coming to this event, by the investors who are still interested in investing in our sector, in our industry, and by all the people in between who are working really hard to make our industry successful and profitable and sustainable, and to those who are really putting humans and community and health first. This is the opportunity to build an industry with people at the forefront, with human health at the forefront, with environmental sustainability at the forefront. And I really hope that we maintain that perspective, and that we use that as our guiding light as we trudge forward to make this sector, to make this industry viable and beneficial to society and to the world. So thank you to everyone who put on Indoor AgCon, who participated in Indoor AgCon, to the exhibitors, and it was another great show, and I really look forward to 2025. Thanks, everyone.